What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TNC Reacts. Today is Wednesday Wonders, and I am wondering why history is repeating itself. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about just in general. When you really look at society, there is not a time that it doesn't repeat itself, from fashion to style of music and to political situations. Even racism in its entirety is still a repetitive situation. And this is not to be all extra with it, but I'm gonna actually be honest. If you take the opportunity to do your research and study and look at the complaints of people that are going through it from the 60s on, the the information has pretty much been the same of being marginalized, being mistreated, being treated unfairly under the law, right? And I wondered why. I'm like, why is this a thing? Why do I keep hearing the same rhetoric? Even 30 years ago, I'm still listening and hearing the same conversations via, TikTok. Because you'll be surprised at the debate rooms that go on, what they're talking about, who can be racist, who cannot, who can be prejudiced, who cannot, and what I realize is each generation has this conversation, but there's no actual progression. And the reason why it repeats itself is because there's an active prevention of information. Because how do you prevent something from happening? You learn from it, you grow from it, and you start to make changes to not allow it to continue, right? But race is one of those weird things where they don't allow that. Even in Florida, Governor DeSantis, he took out certain books that had to deal with slavery and different aspects of racism and things like that. Oh, we got enough books, so on and so forth. But now he's adding in Turning Point USA, and he's going to start adding those into the schools, their type of information, and said, oh, if anybody wants to discriminate against it, they will have some issues to deal with. And I found that interesting. I'm like, okay, so you want to remove these aspects of information because you claim there's enough of it already. But then bring in Turning Point, and Turning Point, I'm sorry, has their own racist ideologies. I've seen some of it, and it is just funny to me. And I realized that since this particular presidency, there has been a major push for removal of certain information. So this is why it's important for you to do your research, have the knowledge, get the books before they burn them, and make sure you're up and up on your own American history. Because if you're not, you're gonna watch things repeat itself. And what are you gonna do about it? You're just gonna sit back and watch it, or you're gonna be able to make people knowledgeable in the best way that you can. Make sure you pay attention to the laws that are going on, things that are getting passed. There's just so many things. But I think one of the main reasons why history repeats itself is purely off of the fact that no one chooses to learn from the mistakes. They actively exercise those mistakes over and over because it may benefit them more than another group. And if you have these people that continually use the mistakes to their benefit, why aren't the people who disagree with it opposing it in a stronger way? Not just with the laws, but in their behavior on how they deal with these individuals. Because I've never understood it. I mean, maybe it's just me as I get older. I can't understand how people can claim to be against something, but then actively do nothing about it as it's being presented. And they just go like, oh, well, it's not affecting me, so I guess I won't do anything about it. And I think that's been one of the biggest reasons why things still continue on. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Why do you think history continues to repeat itself? Is it because there's a lack of knowledge? Is it because there's a removal of knowledge? Or do you think people just don't care and they let the powers that be do what they want? But let me know what y'all think, and be on the lookout for more videos. All right, everybody? Peace.